Well, there's probably those of you that thought that I wouldn't do this. Certainly there are many of us that think that I shouldn't do this. We're going to be flying from Broome to Darwin. It's Sunday night, the 19th of April 2020. The time is just about 9 PM. It is the very last night of Iron Mike Darwin. The guys in Darwin will be continuing to provide air traffic control services for all night. In fact, I think they're going all the way through till 8 AM tomorrow. Maybe even, yeah, about 8 AM I think it is. Anyhow, we are going to fly the 717 all the way over. So we need a zero fuel weight of 39.6, which I'm organising now. Cool. And the amount of fuel that we'll be wanting is 8,194, which is 4,100 in each tank. That's doable. Hello to Arbs13, how are you doing? We're doing crazy things. We're flying a 717 on a massive flight. Landing in Venice was okay. We had an hour of holding in the circuit and then we were vectored around for another half hour. Landed with about 8, maybe 7.5 tons of fuel, which is plenty fine. The flight today will be 1.5 hours long. It's cold and dark aircraft. We have the stairs up on the thing. It's a very strange shadow of those trees over there on the side of the aircraft. Welcome to Broome. We'll jump in. Cold and dark. Cool. Let the aircraft boot up. And I'll turn these screens on one by one. Go maximum brightness, I think, on everything. Let's see what this does. Which one's test? That one's test. One, there it is, status is green. Audio's not ready yet. That's alright. Stick pusher, there it is. Glut, how you doing? IRS onto the align mode, FMS set. 22nd of March, I've got 3 days left. So I come out of Broome and we're heading off to Darwin. Yes, the HMAS crash cam. This aircraft has always been a little bit plagued with crashes. They did update it twice over the last 4 days. So we do believe that the crashes are completed now. Will be QJE. Better write down QJE 29. Is it 70 or 80? It is 70. And I think it was flight L35. Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, those little the eyebrow windows up the top there. And I believe the alternate was YPTN. Hello again, Toilet and Owen. Good to see you there. Yes, the second stream of the day. Why not? Extraordinary circumstances require extraordinary actions, such as sitting at home, pretending to fly a plane for hours and hours a day. Okay, coming out of Broome 115.3 is correct. Broome Airways. J93. Cool, over to CIN. That's Curtin. And J151. Over to Zami. Direct to Jallup. Airway J72 and to Darwin. It's a Wangi. Where are they? Just looking at the thing here. Jallup. Where's Jallup? Where then is Zami? Great. Where's Darwin then? So which airway were we on again? J151. I think I'm going to take J151 all the way in. Zami. Where's J72? There, Jallup. J-U-L-U-P. Ah, that'll be it. Cool. Yeah, you don't see 717s that much at Melbourne. They do come into Sydney quite often. They do the Sydney to Hobart runs quite a bit. Or they used to before the current situation. Performance need initial. So the block fuel is 8.2. Yep, that's fine. Zero fuel weight is 39.3. Set of Godi 17.1. that the zero fuel weight one or the... No, that's the gross weight one, cool. About 15. Good, optimum's fine, 350 will be good. Will be flaps 13 for departure. 40, 0 on the flex. Slope 0, wind 0. Outside air temperature is 34. 34C. There we go. Boom, runway 28. Insert. Cool. Wanted to do this quickly tonight because we want to get out. So the first thing we need to do is turn on the APU. While that happens, we'll do some tests.
Glide slow. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up.
Fire right engine. Fire left engine. APU fire. Cargo smoke. Stabilizer. Slats. Flaps. Brakes. Stabilizer.
Beacon on, logo is in. All of those seem to be okay. APU running, it is. Go ahead and disconnect the ground power. Close the door. Trim should be 5.2. That's set. And that's on the checklist. Normal checklist. Cockpit preparation, gear pins and covers are removed. Maintenance lock is checked. Status page, check. Cargo smoke test is completed. Hydraulic panel is set for departure. We will disconnect the transfer pump for now. Ice protection is set, none required. Fuel panel is set, out is on. Engines panel is selected, APU is running. Exterior lights. I'm happy with what we've got there, all good. IRS is set. Seatbelt signs and smoking is on. Flight instruments are set. Engine test is completed. IRS is set to taxi. Just checking. Yep, taxi showing. Takeoff warning system has been checked. Fuel switches are off. Radar is off. Transponder, standby. Rudder and aileron trim is set. Ship's papers are on board. Fuel quantity is 8.2. FMS is set. Flaps takeoff selector is in the retract mode. With flaps 13 for departure. Stab trim is set. Takeoff briefing not yet done. Okay, takeoff briefing. We're coming out of Broome. Let's get the charts for that. BROOM. There it is. Okay, so we're at the main apron. We'll be taxiing out to runway 28. We won't need to backtrack, but we will need to enter from Bravo. 2,400 meters of runway. And the minimum takeoff altitude 2,100. We'll probably get cleared up to 18,000. 18,000 is still outside controlled airspace, so we are allowed to go up to 18. Let's check in a few tests up here. Flight time is 1.5 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Qantaslink flight 2970. Service from Broome up to Darwin tonight. We do welcome on board our Boeing 717. Thanks for flying with us on Qantas. Up the front of the cockpit today, we have myself, Captain Trent, and also YouTube. We'll be flying up to Darwin, and the flight time today is about 1.5 hours. Looking like a nice smooth flying conditions up towards Darwin today, and rather clear night. We're getting the last of the paperwork checked out up in the front of the cockpit up here, and we'll leave you in the capable hands of our wonderful cabin crew who'll be coming through to ensure that everything is ready for our departure. Once again, thanks for flying with us and hope you enjoy the flights. Cabin crew, please prepare the aircraft for departure. Alright, we'll give a call on the CTAF. CTAF is 1260. And we also have 133.2. Traffic Broome. QJet 2970 is a Boeing 717 on the RPT apron. We'll be pushing back to start engines, then taxiing to runway 29. Estimate taxi time at 30. QJet 2970. Alrighty, we'll dump all of these boys. Operate stairs. Brisbane Centre, QJet 2970 is a Boeing 717 on the ground at Broome. IFR to Darwin, requesting clearance. Response yet?
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Yep. Hi there, we're ready for pushback also. We're pushing to the left. Thank you.
Locking gear.
Okay, viewers on the bus, and we'll do the checklist before we get the final clearance. For start checklist, dispatch has been released, FMS weight data is completed, doors, windows and sides are closed. I'll call the cabin to lock doors. Cabin crew, arm doors. I'll push that way a bit. Yeah, that looks cool.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Copy, parking brakes are released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
We're cleared to start. APU is on, the bleeds. Bleeds are shut down and our isolation valve is closed. We're going to start right side first. Yeah, we didn't know night inspection. Sorry about that. We want to get it airborne as quickly as possible. N2 set. Back on the CTAF for a bit.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brakes are set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Yep, that's good. You can depart. We'll see you on the right side. Good engine cutout.
Unlocking gear.
And we'll start number 1.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
And flaps coming out, 13.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Contact it again. Brisbane Centre, QJet 2970 on the ground at Broome for taxi. Taxis with 106 POB, IFR to Darwin.
QJet 2970 Brisbane, g'day, squawk 7237. No reported IFR traffic, Broome.
Walk code 7237, copy traffic, QJet 2970. And QJet 2970, just say again that score code, we did write it down messily.
QJet 2970, squawk 7237.
7237, yeah, couldn't figure out that third digit. All good.
Oh, good.
Cool, TCAS is ready. We've been waved off, we can start the taxi. Trains on my side. And checklist after start. After start checklist. External power switch is off. Hydraulic transfer pumps are on. PAX isolation switches go on. That should be auto. It is now. APU master switches off. Transponder is set. Ground equipment is removed. Taxi checklist, flaps set 13, spoils are armed. Auto brakes not applicable. Initial climb 18,000. Heading 280 on the runway. FCP set and the takeoff briefing is completed. And for takeoff checklist, runway entry point will be Bravo. EAD is checked. Cabin alerts. I can see they're still doing their demonstration. Landing lights are off, but they're armed. Radar will be tested soon, and the transponder. And we're on the CTAF. Traffic Broome QJet 2970 is departing the RPC apron, taxiing via Bravo onto runway 28. QJet 2970. Yeah, the 777's not a bad plane. It's a second tier plane in my opinion, with like FS Labs PMDG a good level of 2 above them. I think the Dash 8's better than this aeroplane. I think that the Mad Dog is better than this aeroplane, but it's better than a couple of things. Can't think of which things at the moment. I'm thinking of the Aerosoft A330 might have an advantage over this one, but that's a close call. Yeah, it's about level with the A330, A320 from Aerosoft. It did have lots of bugs in the past. It's slowly getting better as they release more and 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 more patches, and more patches, and a few more patches after those patches are patched. The patches that were patched before, but you know, they may one day get there. But for now, it's an okay aeroplane. And yeah, if you like to fly QJet aeroplanes around Australia, it's the aeroplane for you. Vis lights are in. Looks like we're still waiting for the flight attendants. Not a long taxi out here. We might actually do the backtrack anyway. Give them a bit more time. Traffic Broome QJet 2970 Boeing 717 entering runway 28 to backtrack. Traffic Broome. I have not yet had anybody to do with Mad Dog shared cockpit with me. I was going to do it with Ben, but he disappeared on us. Apparently he had work to do or something. And I also slept in until midday, so we must have missed each other. I sent him a message, but he wasn't online. If you happen to have the Mad Dog, let me know, and I'll do a shared cockpit with you on Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday. Not a full flight, just, you know, to test to make sure it actually works, and any foibles that we might have. My suggestion is that we should jump onto Skype, set up our sharing, then launch our simulators, get into the aeroplane, see if it works, then start it up, taxi it around, maybe do a circuit somewhere and then land it again, and then say, yay, it works, then go off and do another day. Broome does not currently have air traffic control. Broome is currently a CTAF as per its chart. So on the chart here, tower, but after hours it's 126.0 CTAF, which it is currently after hours, as you can see by the fact that it is night time outside. It's 9:30 PM. So that's a real life feature of this airport. The air traffic control goes home at night, leaving this airport as a seater. But we get our clearance from Brisbane Centre, all the way over there in Brisbane. They give us a squawk code, and then we talk to the CTAF to do stuff like taxi onto the runway. And then once we pass about 5,000 feet, we'll switch back to the Brisbane Centre and let them know that we're airborne, and they'll give us further climb. Traffic Broome QJet 2970 is rolling runway 29er. Departure right hand crosswind. Traffic Broome. Okay, auto flight set, profiler set, and runway heading. Let's go. Double checking. Apparently that never came off. Cool. Cabin crew has been set. Thrust. Stable. Toga. Hundred knots. V1. Rotate. V2. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Broome traffic, QJet 2970, climbing out of 1,000 feet, turning northbound. Climb power set. Heading select. And back to center. Time 37, I think it was. Gonna go auto flight. And we'll hit direct Broome. Curtain.
Stabilizer motion.
Flap 0. Speed check, flap 0. Keep that climb going. And slats retract. Up takeoff checks. Landing gear is up, flaps and slats are up. Flaps selected to stow, spoilers disarmed. Auto brakes.
And Darwin Centre, Qantas 2 with you, flight level
Hydraulic
130
pumps. Set them
for
off.
flight level 390.
That's up takeoff to the line.
Qantas 2, Brisbane Centre, g'day.
Brisbane Centre, QJet 2970, departed Broome at time 38, climbing 18,000, passing 6,000.
QJet 2970, identified, climb flight level 350, he cleared to Darwin by curtain flight plan route.
Climb flight level 380, cleared to Darwin via curtain, planned route. QJet 2970. And we are cleared to a flight level, so QNH 10137. Yeah, so you essentially have to contact centre before you enter controlled airspace. Currently the controlled airspace around Broome is, I believe, E lower level is 8,000. So as long as we are below 8,000 when we call them, everything's going good. It's 8,500 actually. But yeah, 8,500. Give them a call before you hit that level, and they'll need to give you a clearance to enter their airspace, which they already have. So we're clear direct curtain, then Darwin. Flight planned route up to flight level 3850. Sorry. 350. There's 10,000 lights coming out. Seatbelt signs. And blowed line. Seatbelt signs set, landing and external lights are set, altimeter set, cross-checked. Your route should be via, is it, init. So initialization, you get your alternate airport right there. You can change that, or you can change where you're going, etc. Then you just chuck in the flight plan where you want to go. And stick it in there somewhere. You should then have it showing up back down here. So there's YPTN. In fact, we might even put the rest of that in. So that should be DNJ251TN. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Not letting me do anything on this one. I've got to discontinue here. Dang. CIN. Nav selected. Profile back. Playing around with it too much and it's broke it. There we go. No, still doesn't like me. That's how you do it in the Mad Dog. Don't know how you do it in the 7.1. See you, toilet. There we go. So it's an hour and 30-minute flight. So it's 1.5 hours really. 1 hour and 33 minutes exactly. And the fuel, as we discussed, had 8,100 kilograms. We'll be using 3.3 ton. And we should be arriving with 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 tons, 4.5 tons. Our alternate fuel is 1.3 and the fixed reserve is essentially 1 ton.
Alliance 145.
2.3 tons.
Please get a start clearance.
Speaking of stars, we already know which one we're going to be on, don't we?
Alliance 145, stand by.
So let's look at our arrival into Darwin. And we can do that just by simply picking up our charts.
Alliance 145, start clearance, Wangi 8 Alpha, arrival, runway 29er. When
Don't
ready,
listen to
descent
that.
flight level 250.
I mean, yeah, that's obvious. We'll get the
Wangi
same
8 Alpha arrival for runway 29. When ready, descend flight level 250. Alliance 145.
Well, the first thing we need to do when looking at your arrival route into Darwin is know which runways exist. And we have runway 11 and we also have a runway 29. So let's have a look at the weather in Darwin. So Meta YPDN. Take a look at that. Wind 320 at 2. Now if we're really lucky we might also have an ATIS.
Brisbane Centre, November 0 X-ray, radio check. November 0 X-ray, center reading 5.
And we do. Darwin arrival information Bravo. Expect
10:05,
estimate approach runway
November 0
29.
X-ray.
Well, we're obviously going to be on runway 29, yeah? Cool. So which arrival will we be on? Well, I've just opened up all of these arrivals. Donya 7. Now we want the Alpha arrivals because that's the ILS arrivals and the GPS arrivals. We don't want the uniform arrivals because those are visual approaches and weird versions of the RNP nav approach, which we don't want. So we're going to have a look at this one. It is the Donya 7 Alpha arrival.
November 0 X-ray, confirm cruise 190.
And we can see that the Donya arrival comes from the north.
November 0 X-ray, currently
I don't know about you, but we're in the
177.
south of Darwin, so we're not going to be coming in from the north because that's
November 0
Indonesia.
X-ray, roger, climb flight level 190.
We can discount Donya and just remove
Climb
it.
190, November 0 X-ray.
Next one is the Gator arrival, and we can see that Gator is coming out from the east. Now I don't know about you, but we're in the southwest of Darwin, and we don't want to fly all the way over to Gator, which is on the way to Cairns. We can discount that. This here is Vegpu arrival, which is coming in from the southeast. And Vegpu, we don't want to go all the way over there because that's coming inbound from Alice Springs. So we can remove that. Next is this Wangi arrival. So Wangi is well to the southwest of Darwin, and we happen to be to the southwest of Darwin. So that's a good suggestion that we might be on this Wangi arrival. If you look at our flight plan also, we'll have Wangi in there, I'm pretty sure. There it is, Wangi. So we want to pick up an arrival starting at Wangi, because that's on our flight plan. So I'll pick up Wangi arrival into runway 29, because we've already established that it's going to be runway 29 today. So I'll pick up the ILS approach, runway 29, and we'll start programming that in. So the first thing I'll program is our descent, which is 290 feet minimums. Come on here and set that up in the minimums line. We want Barrow. So 290, that's already set. Done. And we want that arrival. So it's the runway 29 ILS. Don't mind which one, they're all the same. I'll take the first one, X-ray. And we also want the Wangi 8 Alpha arrival. Because we want the Alpha arrival because that's an ILS arrival. The Papa arrival is some weird GNSS thing, so Alpha it is. Wangi Alpha, runway 29 ILS. Insert. Do we need that transition at La Paz? Well, let's open up the ILS and see where La Paz is. La Paz is right in the middle of the centre line, so it looks like it should be fine. And here we can see La Paz is actually part of the Wangi Arrival, so that's needed. Let's select that in, pop it down, let's check in that La Paz is there. And after La Paz we have what's that? I-29, so that's instrument approach runway 29. Then this T-O-R-O-T, Torot, 3 miles out, 1330, that's right there. Then we have the middle marker, and after that runway 29. Runway 29 is 103 feet above sea level at touchdown. And we've just given ourselves a star without talking about gyro control. The differences in the ILS approaches is what you're measuring the positions with. So we have X-ray, Yankee and Zulu. We've picked up the X-ray. There's also a Zulu. Now if you zoom into this, one of them will be measuring its distance from the runway using GPS, and the other one will probably be using the VOR. One of them might also be using the localizer itself. So we'll have a look. This one is talking about Darwin, IDN, IDN and DN. So Torah 3.9, but nautical miles to the threshold of 29 is displayed there, and I'm going to guess that the other one is probably DME from VOR. Yeah. Nautical miles and DME, and the minimums might be different by a couple of feet. They're actually not. They're the same. Circling minimum, essentially the same. That's Zulu, that's X-ray. For some reason I can't get the Yankee one on here, so we won't use that. I've decided on the X-ray because that's the first one that came up. Generally you pick the first one, unless you have some special reason that you can't do it, but here you have nav aid required is DME or GNSS ILS. And this one is DME or GNSS, but the other one had the option of the localizer DME. So the ILS Zulu gives you the option to tune the ILS DME and use the DME from the ILS on frequency 109.7 as your distance measuring equipment. Whereas this one does not give you that option. This one you need to have GSS or DME from Darwin. So there's your main difference. It's only one specific thing. ILS Zulu gives you the localizer DME, whereas ILS X-ray is DME from Darwin VOR or GPS. So I picked X-ray because we've got more than one DME tuner, and we do have GNSX. But if I was in a Cessna 172 or something with a very, very basic navigation system with only one radio available to tune a nav radio, then we may need that Zulu one because we need to be tuned to the ILS and we may not have a GPS system. And that's the reason why I have a Zulu. I'm getting a misc. Windshield anti-ice. I know where it is on the MD. I don't know where it is here. It's North Cell alias, and it is on Ah, there it is. Got it. That entire panel is over here on the Mad Dog. Harder at night. This is 1 hour and 30 minutes from Broome to Darwin. 1 hour and 30. Estimated time of arrival into Darwin is a good idea. Let's see. Progress. 12:30. And the current time is 10. 11:30, that'll be half an hour.
Altitude.
Copy. So 11:30 our time, PM. Yeah, about 1.5 hours. Which seems a little long actually, so I might increase the speed.
Brisbane Centre Alliance 145 leaving 350 for 250.
Lance 145.
It's a bit better, we saved 2 minutes. In fact, we might have go quicker than that, save a bit more. Cool, target thrust hold, Mac decimal 79. I think we can push it up to 80 actually. Done. Speedy Gonzalez plane. Cool. So whatever time it is now, in my world it is 5 minutes to 10 PM. We'll be landing at 11:30 PM. So 1.5 hours from now. No, it's about 90 minutes time from now. 90 minutes from now. Okay, weather radar on my side. There it is, and I'm going to tilt it down a little bit. Minus 1.3 looks about right. Cool. Took it out of descent. Approach at 138, flat 40. Performance will be 183.6. Yeah. I'm going to do 280 /0.78. I keep trying to press that descent forecast and I forget that it doesn't have it on this airplane. It looks like it has it, but it doesn't. -1 point. Okay, so that is
Brisbane
Darwin.
Centre, Alliance 145 approaching flight level 250.
Alliance 145, descend 9000, Darwin QNH 1012.
Down to 9000, QNH 1012, Alliance 145.
Bravo, Juliet Whiskey, Brisbane, g'day, Squawk 32, say again, 3727, no reported traffic on the ground broom, contact me airborne.
3727, reported no fast traffic, and I will call you with Pilbara.
We did put our logo light out, didn't we? Yep, we did. Cool. Go to win.
November 0 X-ray when ready, leave controlled area descending, no reported IFR traffic Tyndall, and the area QNH 1014.
November 0 X-ray, QNH 1014.
Yes, Mohod, you get a better FMS, that's how you do it. Sorry, I can't do it on the 717. I know how to do it on the MD80, but I've tried a few times now with this one, and it just won't let me do anything. So you go into, let's see, your flight plan, so it's flight plan mode. You drop
Line
to the back.
145, contact Darwin approach
You can
134
see
days,
our arrival airport here, Darwin,
134
Flight
decimal
plan
1,
discontinuity.
145.
and our alternate airport, which is Tyndall. So you just need to type in the so if you can't type in the flight plan because it's not allowed, you just select the airport. You don't. That's how you do it in the 717. Just don't divert. Easy.
And then I just 127.
Jetstar 127 Brisbane. Sorry sir, I didn't know you were with me. You can monitor Unicom 122.8.
That's okay, we just wanted to check in, make sure you got enough to Unicom 122.8.
Ah, you're in the 737? Oh, that's easy enough to do. You just stick it in as your destination airport. That'll work in this PMDG. Your FMS won't look anything like this at all, and you won't have an initialization page, so cool. You click on the route page, which this FMS doesn't have, and you select your new destination in the destination point, which this FMS doesn't have. That will of course delete your entire flight plan, so you should do it in route number 2 instead of route number 1, and then once you've completely filled out route number 2 with your new details, then you'll select route number 1 and activate it. Route number 2, sorry, and activate it. Route 2 will then replace route number 1, which will disappear forever, and you'll never be able to retrieve it ever again, but you'll now be flying the route number 2 as if it was route number 1, and then that'll leave route number 2 as an option to fiddle with again. I was starting to look at that last night on the 777 when we were thinking about diverting after an hour of holding. I'd actually started to fill in route number 2 with our diversion. I'd actually put the entire arrival into route number 2, including the ILS and all that stuff. So I was just like 2 button presses away from activating a completely different airport. But yeah, click on route page on the 737. You can see the 717 doesn't have one of those. It'll be up here somewhere like that. It's the equivalent of our init page here. And then there should be on the side, I think it's the bottom left or the bottom right. It's one of these bottom ones. There will be something there that says RTE2. Click on that and then it'll be a completely new blank flight plan as if you're on the ground. And you can fill that in. The suggestion is you put your origin airport as the actual origin airport. So last night when I came out of Dubai going to Venice, I was considering diverting to another place called, I can't remember the place, but Torrizio or something like that. And I put in the origin as Dubai and Torrizio as our destination. And then you just fill in the entire flight plan as if you copy it from the original flight plan, and then you just add the next bit in after where you already are. Then you flip them over, go direct to your next waypoint, and then off you go. Easy. It's harder than the Boeing's actually. Compared to the Airbus, it's a harder thing to do. In the Airbus, you literally have a button called SEC flight plan sitting around about there. Ah, this has one. Okay then. That button there, which isn't working in the 717 because it's stupid. If I was to press that button and this add-on wasn't a piece of trash, like it is, that would bring up a secondary flight plan and you could start again. It's basically an entirely new flight plan. So you build up the new flight plan in second flight plan, and then at the end of the second flight plan you can activate that as the primary flight plan. So you flip it over into the new position as active flight plan. It'll actually swap them in the 717, or it should swap them. So you'd end up with secondary flight plan taking the place of primary, and the primary will go back to secondary, which you could then delete if you wanted to. But then you'll be flying secondary flight plan as your primary. Which we'd suggest would probably be your alternate airport. And the good thing about secondary flight plan in both the 717 and the Airbus A320, 330 is you can always copy it. So you hit secondary flight plan and it should say, do you want to modify the current secondary flight plan, or do you want to copy the primary into the secondary? So for instance, I wanted to divert, but not right yet. So I want to go all the way through to Jalap and then divert to somewhere else instead of going to Wangi and then Darwin. We could do it there. And I've just realised that we have 2 Wangis in the Darwin. But yeah, 717 is a bit trash. So even that secondary flight plan button just doesn't do anything. What? Yep, route 2. So on your Boeing aeroplane you hit the route button, then one of these will be RTE2. You click on RTE2 and it should be a completely blank new flight plan. Now with the Boeings you absolutely have to put an origin in there, and it should be your actual origin. And then you just put whatever airport you're diverting to as your destination. And you construct the origin out of the original flight plan that you already have. So for instance, if I'm flying this flight, I'd probably suggest that I'll take up from Zami or maybe Jalap and then divert off to where I need to go. And then you might do a direct to somewhere. But yeah, basically the secondary flight plan gives you the option to construct the flight plan over a period of time without having to worry about going into heading mode or getting lost somewhere. And then when you're ready to export it, you push it over as active flight plan. You say activate this route, at which point it'll start going direct to whatever's active in your other flight plan. So make sure you have clearance from traffic control to do that before you hit the activation button. But yeah, look at last night's feed towards the end. It's probably an hour out, actually. After all the holding. At some point you'll see me use the active secondary flight lane. Unfortunately, I didn't really talk about that much on the feed. I just did it because it's not something I use very much. So when we had to go in there and start plotting out diversions, yeah, that was annoying. I will be landing at 11:30 PM, I think. Just double check that again. Ah, we've picked up some speed. 11:10. 10 past 11, so 1 hour from now. 1 hour out from touchdown. Not much happening in the skies tonight. Air traffic control centre's still on. But no one's talking. We're all good. We are all good. Yeah, that's fair enough. You'll probably need to go to bed in less than an hour. But the stream will be here tomorrow to watch again. So yeah, I've just updated my opinion on the 717. I didn't realise our secondary flight plan button was just a dummy. Boo. Yeah, at this point I'm probably just waiting for the new Microsoft Flight Sim. The new update of the 717 makes it work instead of crash at random. You can literally go into external view and it won't completely die on you in 5 seconds. The frame rate's pretty good on it too, I must say. But as we've just realised, the secondary button, secondary flight plan is a dummy.
Qantaslink, go ahead.
Yeah, they were on channel before. Hey, far away. No worries, relay the message. Brisbane Centre, Qantas 2.
Qantas 2, go ahead.
Yankee Mike Sierra is checking in with me, flight level 140, so checking in with you.
Roger. He's outside of controlled airspace at the moment, so give me a call closer.
No worries, I'll give you a call. Yankee Mike Sierra, give him a call in about, well, it looks like you're going to be about 100, 150 to give him a call.
There he is. Yeah, it's TFDi that make this aeroplane. I think it's the only one that they've actually made ever. So this is their first development. It's a good looking aeroplane. It kind of flies okay most of the time. Sometimes the autopilot just does some weird and wonderful stuff. The most difficult part of the aeroplane though is this. Yeah, it does all of your stuff for a simple, basic point-to-point flight. You get your approach data like that. You get your progress. Most of these numbers, as you can see, are fluctuating at random. They don't really settle down. That's horrific. And the destination has just changed by 4 minutes for no reason. So it's clearly not picking up information such as, you know, wind data. So it's just calculating off 0 wind, and then it gets surprised when it takes long to get there when in a headwind. It's like, oh my gosh, what is that? We'll only get there at 10:15 now, because we've got 11 knot headwind, which it can't see. The climb forecasts and the wind forecast pages just aren't there at all. You can click on the button but nothing happens. We're looking at diverting the aeroplane to a different location. Now there's 2 ways to divert it in the 717 that I know of. One is through the secondary flight plan, which is a dummy button and nothing happens. And the cheap and cheerful method would be coming down to the bottom of the flight plan and adding extra things between your destination and the diversion point right in here, such as typing in Darwin in that space. That should open up an extra waypoint with a flight discontinuity after it, but this just literally says not allowed, can't do that, sorry, diversions are not possible. The takeoff landing, that seems to be about right, so the V speeds are pretty good. So yeah, just don't expect it to have accurate data for your arrival times. So it doesn't take into account any wind. Got no idea, but I'm suspecting that you don't have something set up in something. I have FSU RPC for all my controls, so I need to assign every aircraft a control profile. So in the 717 I have the certain buttons that work, and I have 2 throttle controls, whereas with the Dash 8 I have 2 throttle controls, 1 parking brake control, 2 controls for the prop RPM, 1 control for the what's that thing, flight control lock. I have a rudder trim as one of my buttons, and then I have a whole bunch of stuff on the yoke as well. So yeah, different controllers for me are different profiles. Just make sure you actually have a profile for your PMDG and make sure that it is actually connected to the aircraft. I'm not sure if you have that, maybe you don't. I've been doing flight simulators since 1998, and I'm doing Vatsim since the year 2000. I joined Vatsim in July 2000. Yeah, flying the 717 into an event where you could get held for 2 hours might be a problem. So don't do that. Lachlan, FSLabs 21 Mad Dog or Triple? Well, the Mad Dog's only useful if you fly in the United States. 777 is good, but they're going to update it very soon, I believe. And of course, it's only really a long haul aeroplane. That's why I don't fly it much. The 321 is just gorgeous. I love it. Everything about it is just perfect. There's only one thing missing out of the Airbus A321, and it is charts. So if they had a little EFB, not like that one doesn't have charts at all. But if they had something like the NGU, 737 NGU, with that EFB sitting on the screen there, Airbus A321 would be the most perfect Vatsim plane ever. My first flight was from Sydney to Melbourne, but I used the wrong airways to get there. I did like the VFR airway that went over Canberra and down through, Albury and stuff. So that was my first flight on Vatsim. A Sydney to Melbourne. I think I was flying something like a Fokker F-27. Yeah, and I picked up the wrong airway, so I was doing the whole Cordo, Canberra, Victor Airways. Yeah, so the NGXU has got something that isn't connecting itself. You don't have a profile for the NGXU. Maybe drop something into the PMDG forum or something. Ask them what's going on with it. That's what I do. Because I literally don't know how your controls are set up. I know how mine are set up. And anytime that my controls aren't set up, I'll just go into FSUIPC, click on accesses. Where is it there? Access assignment, and make sure that my profile specific was ticked. Because if it wasn't, that means that aeroplane is not actually attached to any control surfaces, and I could move my yoke all over the place. Nothing happens. Owen, when I call a Boeing 777 a long-haul aeroplane and you say that you flew it short-haul from Australia to New Zealand, that's not short-haul. It's 4 hours long. Short-haul, I'm going to do a short-haul 777 flight tomorrow. That's a real schedule. Used to be, before COVID. Qatar Airways used to fly from Canberra to Sydney in the triple. There's a Doha to Canberra, Canberra to Sydney, Sydney to Doha. So there's this wonderful little Canberra to Sydney flight that they used to fly in the 777. And I'm going to do that tomorrow, just because it sounds like an hilarious idea. But yeah, 777's pretty good. A321 is my favourite at the moment. It's all about that ACARS. If we were flying it right now, I wouldn't even need to talk to the Air Traffic Control Centre after we made initial contact. I'd log into him, just like we did going out of Darwin into Indonesia. And he was giving us directions through the ACARS, and I wouldn't need to read them back. I'd just click them, acknowledge them on the ACARS, and he gave us a direct to a waypoint. And on the ACARS there's a thing there that you can say, do you want to load this direct to into the FMS? So you've acknowledged it, and then you click it once to push it into your FMS, then the FMS will say execute, and you either decide to delete it or execute, and if you press execute, the airplane will just go off on its direct to. I haven't touched the menu at all. I've just accepted a acknowledgement from the ATC via ACARS, pushed it to the FMS, pressed execute, 3 buttons, and we're direct to. It's perfection. The best airplane that we have, A321. I hope that FS Labs are able to push out the update for the A320 with all that stuff, because as soon as they have a working ACARS in the A320 and FS Labs, that will become my go-to aeroplane. It's because the A320 is a little bit easier to fly. It's not as long, it's not as heavy. It's a bit more sprightly on the ground and all that kind of stuff. Darwin Tower, Darwin ATIS. Now I've just popped in. Looks like Darwin Approach is off, so I've got to lose that, aren't we? Because these dudes have it. We're still in the running for Darwin Tower, and we're still in the running for... Actually, approaches just chopped on them. Cool. And they've just done a controller change on centre, I think. William Teal, nope. Someone on... No. Yeah. Darwin approach dropped offline. Territory went to approach. Territory came on, now they've swapped again. That's interesting. Yeah, Jakarta's been online very, very long. But so has Darwin. Darwin's been on since last Monday. Since about 9 o'clock last Monday. So Darwin's been on an entire week without fail. Almost. I'm sure they have failed once or twice. But yeah, they're doing pretty good. An entire week of being online, including in the stupid hours of the night, you know. But COVID-19 self-isolation will do that to you. Drive you stir crazy, and you'll stay on Darwin Centre on Vatsim for a week. Yeah, OnMic has been very good. I've been enjoying the massive amounts of control. I wish I could have been flying more. I missed out on Tuesday and possibly Wednesday as well, was it? No, we flew Wednesday. But yeah, missed out on Tuesday, missed out on, I think it was Thursday. Would have been good to be there for all of it, but we were working. Adam Pond, just jump online. Should have jumped online this week, but you're a bit late for that. Just jump online, just make sure it's not one of those stupid busy events like FNO, or if you are going to fly into FNO, don't fly to any event airfields. Go from a non-event airfield to another non-event airfield. But Sydney to Melbourne on a Milk Rod Monday would be nice. They're pretty good. Or any Saturday when air traffic control's on. The non-busy times, just make sure you know what you're meant to say. And don't be like Aaron and jump on the microphone every 5 minutes to ask for a radio check. They don't want to hear you. Look at me, I sometimes miss my radio calls and annoy the ATC all the time. It's hilarious. Mistakes can be made. It's for fun after all. Speaking of fun, we need to look at our arrival, 128.25. Just for info, I'm looking at the ATIS position here. I want to pick up the ATIS now. To pick up the ATIS, we come over to the other side and pick up VHF2.
On first contact with Darwin, ground all approach, notify receipt of Charlie.
Charlie.
Darwin terminal information Charlie. Expect instrument approach. Runway 29 surface wind 260 degrees. 2 knots. Target. Temperature plus 29 QNH1012. On first contact.
Bravo Juliet Whiskey, Brisbane, Senegade, you are identified. Clear to Darwin, 5 curtain, flight plan route, climb flight level 370.
Darwin terminal information Charlie.
Clear to Darwin, flight plan route.
Instrument approach. Runway 29 surface wind 260 degrees. 2 knots. Target. temperature +29er, QNH1012. On first contact with Darwin ground or approach, notify receipt of Charlie. Darwin terminal information Charlie. Expect instrument approach. Runway 29er. Surface wind 260 degrees. 2 knots. Target. Temperature +29er. QNH1012.
1012. Okay. So that's the ATIS. We have information Charlie, runway 29er, which I already knew about. Wind 260 at 2, 29 degrees Celsius, QNH 1012. Yeah, I'm using the spacebar. In fact, I've put one of my yoke buttons as a spacebar, so I don't need to move my hand off the yoke. Let's grab the spacebar and go and zoom in with the mouse wheel. Because the honeycomb yoke has 2 trim buttons. Now, ideally, you'd use both of them as the trim button, but you know. Why not have one of them as a trim button and one of them as a space bar? Rossi, how you doing? How do I do the spacebar button? Well, you go to add-ons, go to FSUIPC, click on buttons and switches, move the switch that you want to be a spacebar, click set, press the spacebar, click on press to repeat while held, click OK. And that is now the spacebar button. Of course, the way that I set up FSUIPC, I'd have to do that for every different aeroplane that I own. Aeroplane type, not livery, but you know. I have to set the spacebar for 737, then we change aircraft to the 747, so I have to go into and do that again and have a spacebar button for the 747. Change the plane to the 717, do it all again. Change plane to the A320, do it again. So on and so forth. It's a bit of a chore. But it's rewarding because it means that I don't need to, you know, go in and do it every time I change airplanes. This week we're going to do Qatar, Canberra to Sydney. Going to be a pretty short flight, that one. I'm going to have a nice long night of going to bed. On Wednesday we're going to fly the summer aeroplane, probably the Jabiru maybe. Depends how I feel like it. I do want to, on either Tuesday or Thursday, set up a time to do Mad Dog multi-crew, not as a live stream, just as a see if we can do it. So if anyone has that Mad Dog, and if Ben's watching, it can be you. Tuesday afternoon after about 4:30, hit me up and I'll do the some kind of call, Skype call, maybe a Discord call, whatever it is. I do impressions, I suck at them. I do a reasonable impression of myself sometimes. Good old Mad Dog for free. Yeah, if you don't like the Mad Dog, then there's no point in arguing with you. A lot of people don't. Especially now that they're going to be retired at the end of this year now. At least in Delta Airlines, which is the biggest airline that has them. By the end of 2020 they won't have them anymore. So the only Mad Dogs left will be for the weird oddballs out there. Like Laser Airlines in Venezuela, or I think it's something Airlines that does the flights for the ICE in America. Yeah, the Mad Dog's a very hands-on aircraft, but the simulation is very actually accurate to the real one. Oh, look at that. This thing, oh, it wants to be at 380. Let's tell it to be at 350 now. What was it in it? 350. Ah, now it's starting to go up. Let's make sure that speed doesn't get too crazy. We're going to 0.79. Yes, there's a Europe event on tonight. There's going to be something on every night, so you pick what you can do and ignore the rest. I'm not going to be able to do another night flight today. This is our last flight of the day. See, I'll look at things like that and go, that's an interesting event. What time is it? Ah, it's on at stupid AM on Monday. Let's not do that. And then I forget about it because that never happened. Just looking at Europe right now, there's somewhere in Turkey is online, Istanbul's online, as well as Ankara. Somewhere way down south, I don't even know where that is, Anatolia. Some Russians online, pumping out the old Sochi. Rostov on Don. Moscow. They don't have St. Petersburg online, unfortunately. I just downloaded that free scenery from St. Petersburg. Somewhere in Germany's online. Where's this? EDF. Frankfurt's online. Okay, cool. Munich. DL, wherever that is. Oh, 2 airports in the Netherlands. Not just Amsterdam, but we will also have EHEH. Eindhoven. Nice. Someone talking about test EXE. Yeah, the Dash 8's a very nice aircraft. Yeah, Test EXE wasn't his first security fail. His first security fail was EMD11. Let's just quietly push that under the rug. But basically, if you pirated the MD11, you may have found that your FSX didn't have any textures anymore. Any textures, not just MD11 textures, but like the entire world. Just putting that out there. Yep, exactly. PMDG MD11. Legit users, depending on how the security system worked, even if you've actually properly purchased it, it would delete your entire FSX. Good stuff. Didn't entirely delete it, it just deleted every texture. It like disconnected the link between textures and sim. So you'd load up the sim and everything was white. White sky, white ground, white aeroplane cockpit, everything's just white. Yeah, that was the thing that happened. And it was related to linking, what was that thing? Can't remember the name for it. Flight 1 used to have a fixer for it. Flight 1 registry. So your FSX would lose its Windows registry, and then your PMDG aeroplane would just delete everything. So yeah, that was a thing. And I guess that's probably the reason that we don't have a PMDG MD11 anymore. Because PMDG didn't want to be responsible for that bag of you know what.
G'day Brisbane Centre, this is Qantas Flight 1347 at Tennant Creek, requesting IFR clearance to Darwin.
Station calling, Takeoff.
Qantas Flight 1347.
You think literally just say the word flight after its call sign? Qantas Flight.
Qantas 1437, Brisbane Centre, g'day. You can squawk 4340, no reported IFR traffic, Tennant Creek, contact me airborne.
Hey firm, squawk 4340, no reported traffic and we'll contact airborne, thank you very much.
QJet 2970 star clearance for Darwin is the Wangi 8 Alpha arrival, runway 29er, when ready can descend, flight level 250.
Okay, the Wangi 8 Alpha arrival, runway 29er, when ready down to flight level 250, QJet 2970. .250 is set. So Aaron, have a good one. So set 250. We're still at 35,000 feet. So yeah, one reason that I love the 717, it's the main reason I love the 717. Nothing to do with this simulation at all. In fact, the simulation's pretty poor at the end of the day. But yeah, the 717 is the first and so far only aeroplane that I've been jump seated in. It was June 2001. A couple of months out before September. And we got airborne. It was about an hour late, the flight. I got airborne out of Sydney on Impulse Airlines, the blue cockatoo livery, and I just asked if I could visit the flight deck, and they said yes, and they brought me up, and the captain said, this is this, and this is that, and this is the other thing. I said, this looks like a MD-11. I've seen the MD-11 on the FedEx planes that come in. And they said, yes, it is very much like the MD-11. And I saw over here, it's they'd already set their descent altitude, 210. I said, I've already been given our descent. We haven't been at top of climb for very long. And said, yeah, that's right. So then he showed me how to open this seat up, which is horrendously uncomfortable. You've got this lumbar support thing, and you push that out into a seat, and you've got a seat belt that comes in from up there somewhere. captain's side, so just behind the door here. And the back of the door is the seat back. So you just got your back
Qantas 2, Center, go ahead.
resting on like this plastic and metal seam here. And yeah, I was in the cockpit for the landing. It's
Qantas 2,
brilliant. And they got a high-speed descent, so they're sitting at about 310, 330 knots on the way down through 10,000 feet. And we were looking out there, and they were like, the captain was looking out to the left to see where the runway is at Brisbane, because we were landing on runway 19, so we had to do pass and back around visually. And it was the visual approach runway 19 off the Coolangatta approach. And I kid you not, I beamed the runway, we were still at 300 knots. And then it was like autopilot, everything off, beep, 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 autopilot, autopilot. The throttles came back to idle. They dropped the gear at about 250 knots. They had the slats out at 250 knots. And they're pulling out stages of flaps like as they came down. And yeah, I think it was idle thrust from 300 knots down to the ground. It was one of the most intense visual landings that I've ever seen. So that was my jump seat experience in the 717. Another trashy thing that this can't do is start its descent early, as far as I can tell. In the Airbus, you just push that in. We got profile though, that's okay. There she goes. So Wangi down to Kitty. Now I do have a funny feeling that this aircraft won't take that turn at Kitty properly. It'll get to Kitty and go, oh wait a second, I don't need to go to Uduna and Lapa, I'll just go straight to Darwin. Then I'll be hand flying it through the corners using heading mode. I'll see how it goes. The top of the descent is having a spaz attack because this is a TFDi 717 and it does that. The end. I think it's because we modified our descent. Now let's go back to economy descent. No, it's just having a hissy fit, that's all. What? Let's put it out of its misery and just go into idle clamp descent. That's easy.
Bravo Juliet Whiskey, say again.
Just request please, if I take this consent.
Bravo Juliet Whiskey, all good, mate. QJet 2970, descend by the star 9000, Darwin QNH 1012.
Send by the star 9000, QH 1012. QJet 2970. 9000 set. QNH was 1012. There it is. Descent checks. Landing and data. Briefing has been completed. DA has been set 290. FMS is set for the arrival. Descent checks up to the line. Get some lights off, a little bit dimmer. Okay, terrain my side. There's nothing weather related happening out there today. Logo lights on. Cool, approach mode will be 135 on the approach, flat 40. No need to double gas that. There's no auto brake to speak of. And looking to vacate on Bravo 2. Once we get in, I'm thinking gate number 5 would be great. Kitty, Luna. There's Kitty there, cool. Getting some weird stuff happening down in the SID. So we'll have to really keep our wits about us and make sure that we go into heading mode if we need it. $20,000. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain speaking from the flight deck. We have begun descent into Darwin at this stage, and we do anticipate arriving there in about 20 minutes from now. We do thank you for flying with us on Qantas and Qantaslink partners on our flight to Darwin today on board our Boeing 717. Just looking at the weather down in Darwin at the moment, it is 29 degrees Celsius and looks pretty clear. No rain and no clouds. Cabin crew will be coming through the airplane in just a couple of minutes to ensure that everything is ready for our arrival. And once we do land, we should be back at the gate in about 5 minutes after landing. We do hope you enjoy the your stay in Darwin, top end of Australia. Cabin crew, please prepare the aircraft for the arrival. This has been tuned, and I'm showing India Delta November. Hi there, Malan Nathan. Might as well turn some of these on.
G'day Brisbane Central, this is Qantas 1347. We have taken off and we're at 6,000 feet currently.
QJet 2970, contact approach 134.1.
134.1, QJet 2970.
Qantas 1347, Brisbane, g'day, you are identified.
Darwin approach, QJet 2970, descending 9,000, passing flight level 130. Information, Charlie.
QJet 2970, descend via the star 3,000 feet, runway 29, or expect a visual approach.
Descend by the star 3,000, visual approach runway 29, QJet 2970. So here is where things may get interesting, right about the point where it should be starting to turn outbound from Kitty. I have a feeling it might skip a couple of waypoints. That's at least what it used to do. Aircraft wants some drag. Yeah, Dave Palmer watching as well.
Bravo
That's quite
Tango
cool.
Romeo, radio check.
Bravo Tango Romeo, down approach, reading your 5.
Cheers, thanks for all your help tonight, much appreciated. See ya.
Dave Palmer talking about
Yeah.
jump seating in a what 727. That's pretty cool. Nice. And a Fokker 28. Awesome. And DC-9, much like this airplane. A few less screens, a few more steam gauges. And the A300. That's quite a nice collection. Out of all of those, I can't even pick which one I'd be my favourite. I think the 727 is the most unusual one. It's like, oh, 72. But they're all pretty unusual old aeroplanes. Fokker 28, DC-9, probably the most normal one there is a 73. I've been in the cockpit of a 73 in flight, but I didn't jump seat it. Just stood in the back of the cockpit and said, "Hi, pilot." And the pilot like pointed out where Singleton was. I was like, okay, whatever. I was drawing the line okay. Let's see if it follows it. So far so good. Doing better than the Aerosoft A330, let's put it that way. So far an improvement. Cool. City of Darwin with the Stewart Highway running down the middle of it. Down here is something like Winnelly, and up there is something like Nightcliff. I've never been to Darwin, I just know the places around it because of the work that I do at the NBN. Nice stuff, Lachlan. And there, press the old GPU button. Click. Cabin crew seated. Cabin crew seats for landing. lights are all on. Final checklist. Seatbelts are switched on, altimeter set, hydraulic pumps go on. Exterior lights are set. And full landing checklist. All good. Check it once it's on funnel. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Darwin just for a check and see. It's one of those very hot places, so I probably really want to be inside a car with air conditioning going instead of outside where it's 35 degrees. I'm going to pick up our speed and it'll be 220.
QJet 2970, report visual.
QJet 2970, okay. Actually, yeah, we are visual now.
QJet 2970, clear visual approach, runway 29. Contact Darwin Tower 133.1, g'day.
Tower 133.1, clear the visual approach, runway 29, QJet 2970. Clear the approach mode is in.
Stabilizer motion.
Slats extend. FMS speed selected. Darwin Tower QJet 2970 established runway 29.
QJet 2970 Darwin Tower, runway 29, clear to land.
Runway 29 clear to land, QJet 2970. Landing gear down. And we'll take flap 13. Speed check flap 13. And I think I'll hand fly it from here.
Autopilot. Stabilizer motion.
Flaps 28. 25 in this one. Got the Jabiru and the Grob, G-R-O-B, and the J26 Spartan as well. Flaps 40, speed checks, and the spoilers. Speed stable. Landing checklist, landing gear down, 3 green. Flaps 40, spoilers are armed. Checks complete. Outer marker. Check. Love that little section of the Stewart Highway going across there. Almost like you could land on it. It's brighter than the runway.
$500. 400. 300. Approaching minimum.
Clear.
200 minimum.
Continue.
One hundred. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
QJet 2970, welcome to Darwin, vacate right onto Bravo 2 and taxi the parking.
2970. We came up on the wrong taxiway, didn't we? Dang. With the radar off. Dang, Chris. That's interesting. We'll see what we have to do there. Let's get the AB going. Gate number 4, I think it was. Parking brake is set. Cool, APU's on the air. Just check that we're on the bus. We are. Cabin crew disarm doors. Where is our position? Cool. Well, that is us done at Darwin. If you happen to be watching this stream and don't have anything to do tonight, tomorrow, and you don't need to sleep, Darwin will be on for another roughly 8 hours. I, however, won't be because I'll be in bed. Catch ya. Hope you've enjoyed the weekend, and we'll have another week. I've been Mr. Labor. Bye for now.